Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. My name is Sifu Bryan. I'm a Northern Praying Mantis Conflict teacher with 30 years experience. It is the 11th of February 2021. Welcome to my weekly quote, guys. Let's get straight to it. Maybe it is worth investigating the unknown, if only because the very feeling of not knowing is a painful one. Most definitely. Very good quote, very good quote. The not knowing that kills a lot of people off. Most definitely, most definitely. For me, the not knowing, it took me a while to get comfortable with not knowing what's going to happen today, what's going to happen tomorrow. Just the not knowing can be quite worrying, but for me, the martial arts helped a lot, especially where I infuse the meditation and I combine meditation with what I do, and that helps me a lot to be at peace with not knowing. And I think with the day and time we're in now, it's so important, so important that you become comfortable with not knowing and become at ease with yourself and not knowing what's going to happen today, tomorrow, next week, next year, you know. Because if you don't become calm within yourself and at ease, it could drive you mad, it could drive you crazy. So it's so important. Maybe it is worth investigating the unknown. Yes, I love investigating things, and I love doing my research, as you know, and I love looking at the unknown, like UFOs or history, science, religion. These are the things I love to look into and investigate, and obviously what's going on in our lives today. So, the unknown, the unseen has now been revealed, and from my investigations, it's been quite a journey. I thought I knew a lot of what's been going on around the world, and I thought I was like quite up to date on certain facts, but this last year to now, my eyes have just been wide open, wide open. Wow, it is the Matrix. It is the Matrix, and I would highly recommend people go back and watch again the Matrix, and then look on what's happening today. And with all the information that's coming out on this so-called pandemic, I call it scamdemic, the what's going on in America with Trump and the media, and how the election was stolen out there, and so many things, the Hollywood stars and the adrenochrome and the pedophilia, so many things have opened up my eyes, how these government agencies or these deep state members work, and how basically they've just hoodwinked us, and it's a bit of a shock actually, and makes me feel a bit sad to know that we will give up our freedoms for safety, and the people that fought for us in the First World War, the Second World War, these people fought for our freedoms, and we're just giving away our freedoms like it's nothing. And these deep state members have seized power and basically putting us under their tyranny. And I'm quite surprised, and not just in this country, but in other countries and all. And like I said, as a investigated person, and with what I do, with the close protection, um, I'm used to um, investigating in things and to looking into the unknown, because if our client is attacked, we have to know the threats, we have to know the risks, we have to plan our escape routes, we have to foresee other dangers, we have to um, do a full analysis of our of maybe our clients enemies, and look into what possibly they could do, and possibly what the threats could be, and you'd be amazed at some of the things we look into. But like I say, that's our job, and it's not for Joe Blogs on the street to try and even fathom what we would do. And also, it's the same as when I was doing the health and safety. We did a lot of investigations, and a lot of I did a lot of investigations and stuff into health and safety, and I have got quite a bit of knowledge. So when people tell me something, um, I don't just believe it at face value. I have to investigate it, and especially for like things of like what the government's asking us to do now, um, and basically asking us to just believe them, and they've not presented any evidence, any science to what they are saying. And I've said this in many videos, but you know what, the truth is being revealed, and it's out there if people want to know. For a lot of people, they've got their blinkers on, they're just listening to the mainstream news and the propaganda on there, and that's up to them, that's down to them. But they're still my brothers and sisters, and we still will love them and respect them regardless of what views they have. Because I feel the deep state would love us to be fighting each other and be at each other's throats, and that is not what um, we should not do. That we should not play into their hands. We should not play into their hands of dividing and separating us, regardless of what our views are. And we just have to learn to welcome other people's points of views, not sanction them, and not like what they're doing on social media by cutting people's accounts and silencing people. And actually, coming on that point on silencing people, do people remember Dr. Stella Emanuel? Yes, that's the doctor that spoke up about the hydrochloroquine and how it cured the COVID. And she got a lot of stick. She was threatened. They threatened to take away her license. They threatened to, and they called her all sorts of names, calling her a witch doctor, and they tried to basically put her name into mud, and not just her, also her other colleagues, because they said they cured a lot of people, and that medicine has been around for 60 years. And basically they sanctioned that medicine all around the world. Doctors weren't allowed to access it to use for their patients because it didn't fit their narrative. They're pushing the vaccines, and they want Bill Gates vaccines, and it's about the money, isn't it? It's about the money. It's not about lives. It's about the money and the profits they can make. And now these organisations are coming out saying, oh yes, it is safe, you know, but that's not good enough. And Dr. Emmanuel is not happy, and she wants an apology, and I do believe she deserves an apology. You know, she deserves an apology, and her colleagues. You know, a lot of people came out very negative, and it was not nice. And I knew she was talking the truth because I got to admit I did a little bit of research on her, and to be honest, it was her conviction that convinced me, because I felt it here that she was speaking the truth. And yeah, it turns out she was speaking the truth, because these agencies now, the CDC and FDA, they're all coming out with it now, and it's not acceptable because lives were lost. You know, and the doctor is also saying it's not acceptable. Lives were lost because of their arrogancy, and well, because basically they didn't want to hear it. You know, um, but I think because they feel Biden's in there now, that they feel safe now. But we'll have to see about that one. But I do hope they do apologise to Dr. Emmanuel for that. But yeah, but on the case of Trump, I mean, they're gonna look to impeach him again, which is a real farce. You, in their constitution, you can only impeach a president. So, are you saying that he's still president? Maybe they're telling us something that we don't know. Because once again, you know, I've been saying very clearly that um, he they stole the presidency. There was so much corruption, so much evidence, but the Supreme Courts were throwing it out on technicalities, and basically it was going up against the deep state. You know, going up. They didn't even look at the evidence, which is criminal. And the media kept saying there's no evidence, there's no evidence. There is an abundance of evidence. And when we were listening to the live broadcasts of people that were on the ground working in those election booths, they were coming forward, and they were under a sworn oath to speak the truth, or if they were lying, they would go to jail. But and again, those people got intimidated and threatened and so forth. But the truth is going to come out, and I think under this impeachment, I think will have the opportunity to present his evidence. And but the thing is, they've got to be very, very careful, the Democrats, because in them trying to impeach him, this is unprecedented because he's a civilian. You could only impeach a president, and what this means is that they're making a presidency to go after past presidents, because that means that this opens up the door to go after Obama, Hillary Clinton, all these deep state rats. And you know what? I've got a feeling that this is part of the plan, part of Trump's plan to drain the swamp. This is going to be interesting. Very, very interesting. We don't know what's going to happen, but I've got a feeling he's gonna play one of his trump cards, as they say. You know, but a lot of people will be looking at this thinking, well, they've not seen any evidence. Well, when you've got the media supporting the deep state, you're not going to see the evidence. But the evidence is out there, and if you want to find the evidence, you will find it. So I'll just leave it at that. It's all going to come out. It's all going to come out, and I don't think Biden's going to be there for long now. I really don't. I think Trump will get back in. The corruption from the election, he only needs just one case to get through, and there's still 3 cases pending from the election fraud. So he just needs one to get through, and if that one gets through, it's over. It's over. But again, we've been told this is just a show to wake people up. Sometimes it's hard to take, and it's like, well, I don't know, it looks real to me, but we'll just have to wait and see. Also, there was an interview with General Flynn, and the presentator said to him, well, look like I lost the bet with Trump, because he betted his friend a bottle of wine that Trump would win the election. And now General Flynn, remember, he can't just talk out all the secrets, yeah. And I think we as followers, or we that are awake, we've been following this from the beginning, and we've been looking forward to seeing arrests and seeing people being thrown into jail for treason and that, and we haven't seen that. And obviously there's a lot of people that have been very, very disappointed. None of us thought we would see that man walk into the White House, but we're told he's not in the White House. But we'll let's have to wait and see. But anyway, Flynn said, so the presentator said to the guy he betted a bottle of wine, and said, look like he's gonna have to give his bottle of wine to his friend. Now Flynn said, I would hold on to that bottle for now. I wouldn't be too hasty. Now, for him to say that has to be a clue. That has to be a clue that something's going on and something's going to happen, because he would not. And I know some people don't know who the hell General Flynn is. Google him, all right? But basically, like I was saying, in a war, and we are in a war of information, General Flynn will not come out and say, yes, this is our plan and this is what we're doing. At the moment, a lot of people are guessing. A lot of us are guessing, but the general theme is, we know the elections were stolen. We know that the pandemic is part of this. It's all about the reset, and they want to reset the whole economy. But once again, I think Flynn, he's let us know on a down low that Trump is still in the race, and he's not out of this battle yet. He's not out of the battle yet, and that was a big giveaway. He said to the guy, don't give up your bottle of wine just yet. So I think something's going to happen very soon. So again, we just have to wait and see. Oh yes, another thing that I saw happen was that Tanzania rejected the vaccine, and he's also rejected the PCR testing because it gives too many false positives. And we know that Bill Gates and all his crony friends are very upset. But you know what? Respect to the Tanzania president, but I hope they protect him, because we know how nasty and evil these people are. But we pray that he is protected and nothing happens to him. Now, another thing is that Austria. There was a big march in Austria. 10,000 people march against the lockdowns, and guess what? The government backed down. The government has backed down, and you know what? Also, the police were marching with the marchers, and that was a beautiful sight to see. And I think the government just said, well, you know what? I think we're going to have to loosen these lockdowns. And I want the British police to take heed of what's happened here. You know, the police march with the marchers. So I want the British police to really um, take a look at themselves. You know, because a lot of things what they've been doing has really been illegal. And yeah, so the shops will open, and a lot of businesses and their schools will reopen. So not everything's going to be pulled back, but you know, but that was through people's power, you know, and that was peaceful too. So we need to look at that. That was also the same thing that happened in Italy. The people marched peacefully, and the government had to open up. You know, and I think it's going to be down to the people. You know, because these ministers have got to remember, these MPs got to remember, it's the people that have the power, and we're the ones that employ them, not the other way around. They're our servants. So, and we're not their slaves. All right. Um, and also Hancock, he's losing it now. He's losing it. This last thing he came with, 10-year prison sentence if someone puts down the wrong information. Has he lost his mind? There's people that get that are worse, that get that do some really bad things, and they wouldn't even get 10 years. They wouldn't get 10 years. And you're going to give someone 10 years for putting down the wrong information? No, 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 no. I don't think any judge, and actually Lord Sumption said the same thing. Ex-Lord Justice of the Peace said, nah, he's lost it. No judge is going to sentence someone for 10 years. No way. If that was to ever happen, that judge we would definitely say he's deep state. But no judge would do that. It's not legal. It would not be legal. So interesting, very, very interesting. And on that case about Mr. Hancock, that private criminal prosecution against him hasn't gone away, and Benedict is still working on his case. And I'll just play a little clip from his website. Here we go.
We are now in the final stages of preparing to lay the papers in the private criminal prosecution (PCP) against the architects of a genocidal pandemic fraud that has all but destroyed this country and the world we once knew and loved. However, the prima facie evidence we have amassed is so compelling and substantive, it is simply inconceivable that any British jury would not convict the defendants of the multiple murderous frauds alleged.
There we go. So Benedict is still on the case, and he'll be preparing. He's preparing to lay the final stages of his evidence for the private criminal prosecution. And when he gets through on that, you know, I mean, anything can happen, because they're not going to want him to succeed. The deep state ain't going to want him to succeed, but our prayers will go with him. I think the case will be overwhelming with the evidence of what they've got, and it's going to be through a jury, and they're going to have to go by the evidence and by the facts. So to me, I feel he will win that case. but it's going to be when will they hear the case? That's going to be the question. So good luck to him and his team. I think things are going in the right direction. People must keep up their spirits. I know in the last couple of weeks it's been quite tough, and I think a lot of people have dropped in spirit. But raise your spirits up. Raise your spirits up, because that's what they want us. They want us to lose hope, to lose spirit. Never lose hope. Never lose spirit. Keep your spirits up, and keep yourself active. Exercise to help stimulate those good hormones in your bodies. Meditate to calm the nerves, and do things. Get out and do things. Get out and do things. And also understand the law. Yeah. Understand the law and use it to protect you against people who will misuse the law. Okay, so it's all good, but I think that's about it today. But let's just read the quote one more time. Maybe it is worth investigating the unknown, if only because the very feeling of not knowing is a painful one. Well, let's meditate on that one. I do like it, but again, get comfortable with not knowing. Stay calm, stay at peace. Move yourself forward, keep your spirits up, and guys, I will see you next week. Take care and stay blessed.